Welcome back to Joy News Desk. And today we are taking sports a little early because it was titled The Make or Break Bout, and it lived up to this name in every way. The unbeaten record of Brian Makamoko, aka Bukom Banku, was broken, and victorious Bastie Samir was immediately made into a legend that same night. Prior to the fight, Samir vowed to stop talkative Bukom Banku, and he did in front of a huge crowd at the Bukom Boxing Arena on Saturday night. In a non-title fight scheduled for 12 rounds, Bastie produced the performance of his career to end Bukom's undefeated record by stopping him in the 7th round. The new king of Ghanaian boxing was on the Super Morning Show this morning.
Gonna fight. That's the same thing going on. Like, if you're attacking my people, you know, beating them, stabbing some people, you know, and breaking their houses, and my coach car, they went to attack and break his car.
Oh wow!
And I went to my dad's house, and my mama insult my dad, and all this stuff in the wood, like Agbado. I grew up in Agbado. You know, so they went around insulting all the old people and all this stuff. So I feel bad, and I promised them that they shouldn't worry. You know, I put everything inside the gloves. Now we are fight. It's done. I think the winner have won. They have lost. That's it. You know, we are all one. They are not supposed to keep on fighting, keep on attacking my people. If we say we're gonna let our people attack them, they can't do that, because I got a lot of people too. But you know, it's not like that. That's no boxing. You know, boxing is for gentlemen. You know, it's just a sport. You know, you just understand it. After we done. You love Banku, cool. You like Bastie, cool. You lost. You won. So I don't know. I don't understand why they keep on attacking my people. You know.
Well, Bastie Samir has also been talking about what made the difference for him on Saturday night.
I was a little bit angry, you know, because of what happened, you know. So I was like, you know what, I'm gonna fight. Let's what happen, you know. But that's not the game plan that we took, like we trained for, you know. So after I came back to my corner, my coach like, hey, come on, remember, we trained, we plan. Let's use the plan. Don't forget, like, don't be angry, you know, cool, you know. Just take your time. You'll get him. Just have patience. Just clear everything in your head. I was like, okay, so second round, still I was a little bit, you know. So after that third round, I was like, and I started something about, you know.
It was quite a night, and in the studio with us is the man who had the first-class view of everything that happened. Joy Sports editor and ring announcer for the Bout, Nathaniel Atto. Nat, welcome to News Desk.
Hey, thank you very much.
I've not had you here before. So
interesting,
It's great to have you here. Now, the first question I want to ask is that I saw this interesting message on WhatsApp. Nathaniel Atto, Bukom Banku, how did you see Bastie? Bukom Banku replies, Bastie is a wicked. He hits me plenty. He don't know play. A fight is a boxing, not a killing. Ilua. Is this true? Did you have this interview with him?
For the record, it's not true.
Okay.
We all know what happens lately with social media trolling and all of that. And the trolling took different angles. You know, I saw this for the first time when I got home around 3 a.m.
Okay.
You know, after the bout. And it actually had, the original one actually had, it was the conversation was short.
Okay.
And it had a picture, a screenshot of myself and Bukom Banku wearing a black t-shirt with blood oozing from his,
Immediately after the bout?
And this, no, this was an old picture of Bukom
Okay.
Banku. And it had myself. I think it was a shot from the news conference held at DSTV Supersport.
Okay.
You know, so I read it. I found it, I mean, I was not surprised at all, but it was not true. Truth of the matter is that Bukom Banku has not spoken after this bout.
Okay.
Now, what happened in the post-fight formalities is, of course, I interviewed the winner. I asked him about 4 questions, and after that, I turned to my right to see if I could get Bukom Banku, and he was not in the ring. He was not in the inner perimeter of the arena. He was gone.
Wow.
He was not around to be interviewed. So Bukom Banku has not spoken.
And he's not been seen since then?
Well, no, he's around. I mean, he has, sought medical attention.
Okay.
He's fine. But the truth is, he hasn't granted an official interview. Okay. He hasn't spoken yet. But of course, if he'll speak, one of our platforms here at the Multimedia Group will have it. There's no doubt about that.
Definitely. Because I was going to use this as my headline. This one says, I will sue Bastie for attempting to murder
So
me.
you know the interesting thing, as the day went by and as this continued to spread, there was a longer version. Which had, a little note under it and all of that. And I've had loads of phone calls, loads of text messages, loads of WhatsApp calls, loads of WhatsApp messages asking me if, this is what happened. There are some people who even concluded already that it really did happen, because Banku is a very interesting character. Very
and of course, they used your name, which made it very...
Of course, to give it the authenticity.
That's authenticity. Anyway, now let's now talk about the bout itself. A great bout by all standards, from what I saw. I mean, you are the professionals, but from the way, the quality of the fight, the patronage, the refereeing, tell me about it. What was your impression?
Well, in terms of the interest that was stirred, I think that it is the best possible, form of interest you can stir ahead of a bout like this. I always say something that Ghana is at the stage where we're seeing a re-emergence of the sport. It is interesting and coincidental that one of our greatest administrators, the late Colonel George Slater, was buried not too long ago. Now, Colonel Slater's years were the days when you saw black tie. He actually introduced the black tie dress code to the ringside. Now, I'll tell you something. Boxing is supposed to be a premium amongst the biggest premium sport that you have in the world. Now, it is supposed to be the gentleman's sport. But for one reason or the other, and because of the conduct of a certain group of people, you may think that it is for rough people and all of that. But trust me, boxing is supposed to be at the highest end when it comes to, premium choice for sports and entertainment. And it gave I was so happy for the people who were at the receiving end, the fans in the arena, and those who were locked on to it via the live coverage by our partners, our strategic partners, DSTV Super Sport. And we're going to talk about that in a bit as well. But the live coverage was amazing. So many people following from across the African continent and Ghana. And I just think that it is a good stepping stone for bigger things to happen in the future.
We'll talk about those bigger things that should happen in the future. But tell me about the quality of the boxing itself. Bukom and Bastie obviously both prepared so well for the game.
I have known Bukom Banku for a minimum of a decade and a half. And I'll tell you something today, here and now, and I'll repeat it anywhere, that for the very first time, I've seen him lose so much weight and look so trim ahead of a bout. In technical terms, it has its disadvantages. If you want to take reference from Zabjuda versus versus Joshua Clottey, which resulted in Joshua Clottey winning the IBF welterweight title. In that bout, Zabjuda lost as much as 13 pounds, and it drew him a lot of criticism. Eventually, he lost the bout because, of course, Joshua was the better fighter, and was a big welterweight as well. Now, Bukom Banku is very comfortable in the light heavyweight division. That is where he's comfortable. He finds a lot of comfort there. But over here, he had to put in extra strain. And you see, if you're a big bone person and you resort to denying yourself food and denying yourself your regular nutrition, sometimes it takes a toll. But I spoke to him, we played those interviews here, and he said that it had no effect whatsoever. What the message that Bukom Banku sent to everyone was that this was a serious fight for him. It was his career 30th, and he was looking forward to going 30 bouts undefeated, and that surely was going to be a very enviable record. Let's not forget that Bukom Banku once was a number 5 contender for the WBC light heavyweight division. So he's not somebody we can joke with. I've seen people send me messages and say, oh, this fight was comical. And it was not comical by any stretch of imagination. This was a serious fight. The boxers came in there, they rose to the occasion, and they gave us great entertainment. In terms of the quality of the boxing, I think that Bastie was the more technical boxer.
Okay.
He was the more strategic boxer on the night. And eventually, it was made manifest and it reflected in the kind of result we saw.
Okay.
Now, you saw both boxers go in the first round a lot more careful, a lot more punch shy, a lot more, observant of each other, and then the real action started sometime after the third round. Now, you realize that Bastie himself received a few of the very nasty, stinging jabs from Bukom Banku.
Exactly. I was just commenting about the state of his face when he came to the
exactly. Now, you realize that Bastie, even as at now, he says he's fine, even as at now has a little blackness beneath his right eye.
Yeah.
Now, this happened sometime during the third round when, Bukom Banku gave him, managed to land a very strong hook, a very strong left hook. It caught him unawares, and then he followed up again about 3 seconds later at the same spot. So it created that swell, and it created some redness as well. But you see, after that and a few other exchanges, Bastie Samir's corner read the game well, and he himself read the game well. He applied the cardinal principle of boxing. At the end of everything, protect yourself at all times.
Okay.
And what he did was to keep his guard up anytime there were toe-to-toe situations, because in the latter part of the third round, getting into the fourth round, in the early part of the third round, Banku did a lot of stalking of Bastie around the ring. So there was a lot of fighting outside of the ring, you see. But in the moments where both boxers fought from inside the ring, and in technical terms,
when you say outside the ring,
inside the ring is in the center of the ring, when both boxers are fighting within the center of the ring.
So for instance, right now on the screen, and if they can put that on the screen for us to describe that well, if my technical team can do that for me. Right now, Banku is standing inside the ring.
Yes, and now this is inside the ring. So when both boxers fight around the center, the center of the ring.
So at the moment, for instance, they are fighting inside the ring.
Exactly.
That's great.
And this is more of a toe-to-toe situation, okay? Because both boxers are fighting at very close range.
Yeah.
Now, for a lot of boxers, especially when you realize that your opponent has a better reach than you do, as in longer arms. You have to fight, you have to fight close to them so that it denies them the opportunity of fully utilizing, the strength and the impact of their arms. Now, when of course, when you stand at a distance, then it gives them the opportunity and the advantage. You know? So these are little technicalities and all that. But at the end of the day, I think that defensively, Bukom Banku was very, very open and very, exposed. And that is drawn from the confidence and the conviction that you can overcome this opponent. No
so
matter
you sort
what
of
the
took
situation
him for granted to an extent?
Not necessarily. It's the confidence. I mean, these boxers know each other. I mean, they have a common trainer in Ofori Asari who was in Bastie Samir's camp. He's trained both boxers before. He knows both of them. You know, so he knew that, look, I will beat this guy up no matter what. And of course, by the third round, nobody had any imagination whatsoever that Bukom Banku was going to lose this fight, because he was fighting well. He was fighting pretty well. So it is about...
So for what you're telling me, it looks like the strategy of Bastie Samir and his ability to read the bout and his technical team really helped him, especially after he took those punches in the third round.
And he revealed on the morning show today on Joy FM that in the first 2 rounds, he didn't listen to his trainer. And of course, all of this stemmed from the pressure, the high expectations from the fans, and all of that. And also the fact that there was a little delay at the start because of the protest that was brought forth by the
size of his gloves.
By the corner of Bukom Banku. That the gloves were uneven and all of that. But a check was done. They were 10-ounce gloves, and there was no problem with them. But there was an insistence that they be changed, and they were changed. And the bout went on. So he went in with a lot of anger, and he wasn't ready to listen to anybody, including his own trainer. But going further into the bout, he realized that he had to listen to the man who was reading the bout from the immediate close range. And that worked a great deal for him.
Definitely did. So now let's talk a bit about the boxing game generally. And before we do that, we would have to look at the aftermath of this game, this bout, because we understand Joy News' Maxwell Agbagba is standing by as Bukom to tell us more about reactions of the fans. We'll go to him. before the bulletin is over. We are told that apparently some fans of Bukom Banku are attacking some fans of Bastie Samir. He was mentioning it earlier when we heard that. We'll get those updates. But tell us quickly about what this means for boxing in Ghana.
Great. Thank you.
How do we take, what lessons do we take from this one to going forward?
Okay. Now, to take boxing to that level where we want to see it, where we could compete favorably with South Africa, Europe, and of course the den itself, which is the United States of America, there are a few factors that we need. We need talent. We have the talent. We need the technocrats, as in technical expertise in our trainers and our coaches. And we have talented trainers, however, they need a lot more training. Now, Coach Ofori Asari, who's a Bastie Samir's trainer, is one of our most experienced. In fact, as we speak now here on the local scene, he is the most experienced coach because of, you know, where he's been from the amateur level up to the professional level. Now, from there, you need infrastructure. And this is where I will give a lot of commendation to President John Dramani Mahama, immediate past president, and the then leadership of SNIT, who took the bold initiative to put this together in collaboration with...
That's the boxing arena.
Yes, of course, ETC Polska of Poland. I mean, what is left to done, however, is that the place is yet to be completed. The boxing arena is not the only facility within the Trust Sports Emporium. There's also the swimming pool, there's a multi-purpose hall, and I think that if this is replicated across the country, we're going to have great discovery of talent, and the organization of regular competition in boxing and in other sporting disciplines is going to be massive. Now,
I have Maxwell on the line.
Sure.
So let's go quickly. So joining us is Maxwell Agbagba. He's standing by at Bukom to tell us more about reactions of fans of Bukom Banku and Bastie Samir at Bukom. Maxwell, what's the mood this morning as Bukom?
Well, Daniel, it's more one of easy calm, tension. There's still tension between supporters of Bastie Samir and then Bukom Banku. This morning when we arrived at Bukom, what actually happened was that we met some gentlemen, about 50 of them, playing a game of football at the Bout Park. About 5 men who were watching the game approached to talk about the fight. Actually told me that they were able to fix the issue for personal reasons. So I left them and then I went closer to some 5 men that I met also. They also told me that they were not ready to talk about the bout that happened on Saturday. So my line of questioning then changed to why they were not willing to talk about the fight. Then it was then that some supporters of Bastie Samir opened up to me and told me that yesterday, around 9:30 p.m., they were attacked by men alleged to be supporters of Bukom Banku. Now, in process, they actually set alight a shed where they usually sit and relax, during the hot hours, to engage in conversations about sports and about their own personal lives. That shed was actually set ablaze. I saw it with my eyes. And then also, a makeshift structure that serves as a place where one of Bastie supporters actually sells the mobile phone credits was also destroyed yesterday around 9:30 p.m. Now, just when we took our cameras to take footage of the happenings, the remnants of the violence that happened there around the Bukom Park, some community members, together with a man who claims to be an opinion leader, walked up to us and warned us not to take footage of whatever that we were seeing there. Now, another thing that happened was that he actually took my mobile phone and then deleted some pictures that are taken, on my phone, deleted all the pictures, handed the phone back to me. Now, he told us that he wouldn't want to take footage of anybody in the community. He doesn't want anybody to speak to the issue. And then he got some of the community members to, escort us out of, Bukom. So we were actually unable to interview, to film, the victims who were narrating their stories about how they were allegedly attacked by Bukom. Some people believe to be supporters of Bukom Banku. To Bukom, the tension is still there. Earlier, we had conversations with people. Job on conversations.
Maxwell,
Yeah, hello, Daniel.
Right, Maxwell, would have to end it here, but thank you for that vivid account. We'll be taking more updates from you in later bulletins and, of course, getting word from the police. Nathaniel, very disturbing and what we are hearing about the reaction, and you were just showing me some of the pictures of what happened. They'll soon be rolling on the screen there. But let's quickly wrap up this conversation about boxing. You're talking about the need for... You've talked about the need for infrastructure and the fact that we do have some technical expertise, but we need to beef them up in terms of training. Is there anything more that we need? What's about the fans out there?
So in terms of the Bukom Boxing Arena, just wrapping up that point very immediately, my plea to President Akufo-Addo through his sports ministry and the current leadership of SNIT is that I hear that there is a forensic audit ongoing on the project so far and everything, that it is effected, it is expedited so that the project is completed, because you know that look at the period between last December and now, last November and now, and the kind of lift and push that it has given to boxing. It's been phenomenal. It's been amazing. And also, I'd like to talk about media and its role in bringing sponsorship on board. Now, our partners, you know, SuperSport, DSTV are strategic partners.
Yeah.
And of course, we're very soon going to announce, you know, a strategic partnership where we're going to go into regular fights. Now, this is the start of a quarterly program that's going to be put live on DSTV for the rest of Africa.
Okay.
And these fights are going to happen every quarter religiously. And so there are big opportunities available. What these boxers have done in terms of selling the sport and you know, pushing this fight is that they have brought a lot of people to come and support boxing. People who otherwise wouldn't have given, you know, wouldn't have cared about boxing are now supporting boxing. And this is where we need to give the credit where it's due. As we bask in all of the satire and all of the shock that Banku has been defeated and all of that, let's remember that we need to give him the credit he
I think he has brought a lot of attention.
In the last 15 years, no boxer here in Ghana has sold boxing the way he has. No boxer has put such a fine, light twist to boxing the way Bukom Banku has. And I think we need to give him the credit.
On that note, Nathaniel, I would end it here. But thank you very much for making the time for us. And we hope we'll be getting you more on News Desk. It's been great. Nice tie, by the way. That's awesome. That was Nathaniel Lato, ring announcer and Joy Sports editor.